I want to thank you all for joining us. It's really hard to believe that we are actually celebrating our 54th SBIOI, and I cannot say that back when we started these we would ever have expected to be able to do this virtually with over 300 people on a platform called Zoom. So I appreciate you all dialing in. We hope this will go well today, and I think this will be a great event for us to continue if we ever need to do so. I'm going to keep my remarks fairly short because I know we want to jump right into some of the briefings that we'll have here from our NIWC Atlantic leadership. I want to thank them for participating today. You'll get to see them on the screen here. We're all socially distanced 6 feet apart in this room today, but you'll get to hear from a number of the leaders about what the command is doing in response to the COVID-19 crisis. But before we jump into the agenda, I did want to just share a few things about what CDCA has been doing over the last couple of months since the year began. Fundamentally, we want to make sure that everyone knows we remain committed to the mission. And even if we have to do that in a telework environment, there are a number of things that we feel like will continue or to allow us to continue in a position of strength into the future. First and foremost, if you are not aware, as one of our member companies, we have posted a number of resources on our public website. If you are interested in some of the legislation that's passed, some of the new updated guidance that's been out there, I would encourage you to visit our website, charlestondca.org. There's a lot of great resources for our member companies there. Additionally, through the Contract Industry Council, we've had some meetings and discussions communicated regularly between industry and Steve Harnig and his team as far as some of the things that we're seeing in industry, continuing to provide that feedback and the kinds of things that industry needs in this time. So I would just encourage all of our member companies, if you have questions, feedback, other things that we can bring forward as the voice for industry with our government partners, please do share that through our website. On the political relations front, we also have been active there. We have actually been reached out to as an organization as a voice for the defense industry in the region, in the state. In fact, we've got a meeting scheduled next week with Joe Cunningham and his staff. Lots of interest in making sure that things like the CARES Act legislation and some of the policies and guidance that are coming out are going to be advantageous and effective to make sure that our defense industrial base stays strong. We also are working with a number of the legislative staff to also continue to keep the appropriations flowing. We've been pushing initiatives and some funding for things like the Palmetto Tech Bridge and the innovation agenda. So we remain very active there on the political relations front, and again, welcome input, any questions you may have on what CDCA is doing there. Another one of our primary focus areas this year is on the education front. You may know that we have been working a cyber apprenticeship program through the state. We've got some exciting details to share with you soon on that. Fundamentally, again, just to bring in more talent, to provide opportunities for our member companies to create that pipeline of cleared and qualified talent. So we're excited about that kicking off this year. Unfortunately, we did have to make a tough decision to cancel our 2020 summer intern program. And I know a number of member companies had applied for that and had been looking forward to that. Unfortunately, due to the current situation and the restrictions we had, we fundamentally did not feel like we could safely and effectively provide a quality intern program for our students this year. That being said, if you were one of those member companies who had applied for and is interested in continuing that program, we will offer your first right of refusal for next year. So we look forward to continuing that program when we feel like we can open up and provide a great quality opportunity for our interns. As an organization, obviously we've scaled back a few of our operating expenses, particularly things like our outside vendors that support us on political relations, public relations. We really are trying to be the best good stewards of our resources to make sure that we stay strong for the remainder of this year as we go through a fairly uncertain time. But I am excited to announce and to promise that we continue to work on the annual Defense Summit. We're very hopeful and optimistic that by December, when we have that scheduled, we'll be able to move forward with that. So if you have not already, mark your calendars for the 1st to the 3rd of December. Mike Teeple and Lori Benson have been working hard to put together a great program, and we will be rolling out some information about our agenda and registration and sponsorships and so forth coming out soon. So keep your fingers crossed, stay safe, help us flatten that curve so that we can all be back together in person here at the end of the calendar year. With that, I'm gonna basically wrap up here, turn it over to Pete to go through the agenda for today. I do want to, again, thank the NIWC Atlantic leadership for coming and joining us today and sharing what you're doing in terms of the COVID response. And I also want to thank SAIC for providing us the facility and the infrastructure here to hold our first virtual SBIOI. So thank you all. And with that, I will turn it over to Pete.
Thank you. Yeah,